Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift? Not because you said anything provocative or acted differently, but simply because you were you. There's something deeply unsettling about realizing that your mere presence can trigger responses you never intended to provoke. It's like being blamed for a crime you didn't commit, except the crime is simply existing as your authentic self. You carry yourself with quiet confidence. You speak your truth without apology. You pursue your goals with focused determination. You maintain boundaries without guilt. You radiate contentment that doesn't depend on others' approval. And somehow, this natural way of being creates ripples of discomfort in others that you can't quite understand. Perhaps you've noticed the sideways glances when you enter a room, the conversations that stop abruptly when you approach, the way some people seem to study you, searching for flaws they can use to diminish what they can't deny, your authentic presence. Carl Jung spent decades studying this phenomenon, and what he discovered was both fascinating and disturbing. He understood that some individuals possess what he called an attractive aura, not just physical beauty, but an energetic presence that simultaneously draws people in while awakening their deepest insecurities. It's a paradox that reveals one of the most complex and painful aspects of human psychology. What Jung discovered was that authentic presence acts like a psychological catalyst. It forces others to confront the gap between who they are and who they could become. This confrontation isn't always welcome. In fact, for many people, it's deeply threatening. Your very existence becomes a mirror reflecting back their unlived potential, their abandoned dreams, their compromised values. Jung realized that when we encounter someone living authentically, we're faced with an uncomfortable truth. We too could make different choices. We too could live with greater integrity. We too could pursue our genuine desires instead of settling for what feels safe or acceptable to others. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. Onward, thinkers. My name is Mr. Halvig, and you're watching The Rational Wise. Jung's exploration of the collective unconscious revealed something profound and disturbing about human nature. When someone encounters an authentic, magnetic presence, they don't just experience attraction. They become a mirror that reflects back their own perceived inadequacies. This creates what Jung called psychological contagion, a kind of emotional infection that spreads through social groups. Think about the last time you met someone who seemed effortlessly at peace with themselves, someone who spoke with genuine conviction, who maintained clear boundaries without explanation or apology, who radiated contentment without needing external validation. Someone who pursued their goals with unwavering determination, regardless of others' opinions. What was your honest, uncensored reaction? For some people, encountering such a person is inspiring. They think, if they can live this way, maybe I can too. They see authentic presence as proof that another way of being is possible. But for others, and Jung discovered this was tragically common, the reaction is quite different. They feel threatened, diminished, somehow exposed. This isn't necessarily conscious. Most people aren't walking around thinking, I resent this person because they make me aware of my own limitations and compromises. Instead, it happens in what Jung termed the shadow realm of the psyche, that hidden part of ourselves where our fears, insecurities, and unacknowledged desires reside like dangerous prisoners in a psychological dungeon. The person with the attractive aura becomes what Jung called a projection screen for others' unconscious material. They're not doing anything wrong. In fact, they're often doing everything right. But their very authenticity triggers what Jung termed shadow projection in those who encounter them. It's like a psychological allergic reaction to authenticity itself. Your presence becomes a reminder of unlived potential. When people see you embodying qualities they wish they had, confidence, authenticity, inner peace, clear direction, unwavering self-respect, It can create what psychologists call compare and despair. But instead of using this awareness as motivation for personal growth, some people transform it into something much darker: resentment, criticism, and active hostility. Jung understood that this reaction reveals something crucial about the observer's internal landscape. The intensity of their negative reaction is directly proportional to how far they've strayed from their own authentic path. The more compromised they feel, the more threatening your authenticity becomes. Your light doesn't diminish others, but their shadows fear it does. When confronted with an attractive aura, the human psyche has developed sophisticated and often cruel defense mechanisms to protect the ego from feelings of inadequacy. Jung identified several patterns that emerge consistently when people encounter someone whose presence awakens their deepest insecurities and regrets. The first mechanism you'll notice is competitive mimicry, and it's both fascinating and tragic to observe. People around you suddenly start adopting similar interests, buying similar items, or copying your mannerisms, but always with a twist designed to make theirs better, more authentic, or more sophisticated. A woman might buy the same style of dress, but make sure everyone knows hers costs 3 times more. A colleague might adopt your work approach, but add unnecessary complexity to appear more intellectually superior. Jung understood this as the ego's desperate attempt to steal psychological thunder. When people can't generate their own authentic presence, when they've lost touch with their true desires and values, they try to replicate what they perceive as the source of your magnetism. The tragedy is that this behavior only distances them further from their true self, creating more internal conflict and consequently more resentment toward you. But there's something even more insidious at play. These copycats often become your harshest critics, pointing out flaws in the very behavior they're mimicking. It's as if they need to tear down the original to justify their imitation. They can't simply admire and learn. They must compete and diminish. Another common defense is the backhanded compliment, and Jung recognized this as one of the most sophisticated forms of psychological warfare. "You're so lucky you can just be yourself," they might say with a smile that doesn't reach their eyes. Or, "It must be nice to not care what people think." These aren't genuine compliments. They're carefully crafted weapons designed to diminish your qualities while maintaining plausible deniability. The backhanded compliment serves multiple psychological functions. It acknowledges your attractive quality while simultaneously devaluing it by making it seem unearned, accidental, or somehow problematic. It allows the speaker to appear supportive while actually undermining your confidence. And it creates doubt in others who might be inspired by your example. You'll also notice drama appearing where none existed. People with attractive auras often find themselves at the center of conflicts they never initiated. Your grounded energy highlights their chaotic internal state. Instead of looking inward, they externalize the discomfort and make you the problem. Jung called this scapegoating, holding someone else responsible for feelings and conflicts rooted in their own psyche. You become the container for their unresolved issues, abandoned dreams, self-hatred, and regret. It's easier to blame you than face the real source, their own choices and compromises. Another defense mechanism is minimizing your achievements. Successes are credited to luck, privilege, or manipulation. She only got that promotion because she's attractive. He's successful because of family money. This preserves their belief that success requires unfair advantages, because admitting you earned it through authenticity and effort would force them to face their own lack of action or integrity. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Now let's continue. Envy whispers, poison disguised as praise. One of the most painful aspects of aura-driven resentment is what Jung called shadow projection. When others project disowned parts of themselves onto you, twisted into something dark and threatening. If you're confident, they may call you arrogant. If you set boundaries, selfish. If you pursue goals, manipulative. If you're happy, fake. It's not about who you are. It's their own shadow speaking. Jung noted we often attack in others the very traits we secretly possess, but reject in ourselves. This projection helps them avoid facing their flaws by making you the problem. Sometimes it evolves into shadow alliances, groups united by resentment, trading stories, doubting your authenticity, and inventing false narratives. Your success becomes proof of their failure, your joy proof of their misery. The most destructive form is character assassination, not attacking what you do, but who you are. When they can't find fault in your actions, they fabricate flaws in your essence, turning you into a dumping ground for their self-hatred and regret. Tragically, they're rejecting in you what they most need themselves: authenticity, boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to live by their values. They love the light you bring, but hate the darkness it reveals in them. Jung believed that understanding these psychological dynamics was crucial for anyone carrying an attractive aura. The goal isn't to dim your light, apologize for your authenticity, or compromise your values to make others comfortable. It's to navigate this complex psychological terrain with wisdom, compassion, and strategic awareness. One of the most important patterns you'll learn to recognize is the emotional hot and cold behavior of those who resent your aura. They alternate between seeking your energy and rejecting it in a confusing dance of attraction and repulsion. One day they're drawn to your presence like moths to flame, asking for your advice, wanting to spend time with you, seeking your approval or validation. The next day they're distant, critical, dismissive, or actively hostile. This push-pull behavior reflects their internal conflict between admiration and envy, between inspiration and resentment. They want what you have, your peace, your confidence, your clarity, your success, but they also hate that they want it. They're attracted to your authentic energy because it feels so rare and refreshing. But that attraction makes them deeply uncomfortable because it highlights their own lack of authenticity, their own compromises, their own distance from their true self. Understanding this pattern is liberating because it allows you to respond with emotional detachment rather than taking their behavior personally. When they're seeking your energy, you can engage with appropriate boundaries, offering what you're comfortable giving without expecting consistent gratitude or reciprocation. When they're rejecting it, you can maintain your center without desperately trying to win them back or prove your worth. Jung also emphasized the importance of what he called conscious living in response to aura-driven resentment. This means continuing to be authentic, not in spite of others' negative reactions, but because of your commitment to psychological wholeness and personal integrity. Your attractive aura isn't something to hide, diminish, or apologize for. It's evidence that you're living in alignment with your true self, your deepest values, and your genuine desires. Another crucial insight Jung offers is learning to distinguish between genuine, constructive feedback and projected resentment disguised as criticism. When someone gives you criticism, ask yourself, is this about my actual behavior that I can change and improve? Or is this about their discomfort with who I am at my core? Genuine feedback is specific, actionable, and focused on behaviors rather than character. It comes from a place of caring and wanting to help you grow. Projected resentment, on the other hand, attacks your character, your essence, your right to be who you are. It's vague, accusatory, and designed to make you doubt yourself rather than improve yourself. Jung also recognized the importance of what he called psychological boundaries when dealing with those who resent your aura. This doesn't mean building walls or becoming cold and defensive. It means being selective about who gets access to your energy, your time, your emotional investment, and your vulnerability. Some people have earned the right to your authentic self through their own authenticity, support, and genuine care for your well-being. Others have demonstrated through their behavior that they're not psychologically safe containers for your energy. They've shown that they'll use your openness against you, twist your words, or punish you for being yourself. Your authenticity is not an apology to their insecurity. The most profound insight Jung offers about attractive auras and the resentment they trigger is this. The problem isn't with the person carrying the aura. The resentment, criticism, and hostility aren't about you. They reflect the observer's unresolved conflicts and unlived potential. When someone sees you living authentically, maintaining boundaries without guilt, pursuing goals without apology, speaking your truth without fear, radiating contentment independent of others, they face a mirror of their own unused potential. This creates what Jung called divine discontent, an uncomfortable awareness that they too could choose differently, live with integrity, and align with their deepest values. For some, this awareness sparks positive change. They think, if they can do it, so can I. Using your energy as inspiration to reconnect with their authentic desires. These people become allies in your journey. For others, tragically common, Jung noted, it breeds resentment and hostility. Instead of asking, what can I learn from this example? They ask, what's wrong with them? They make you responsible for feelings and conflicts that actually stem from their own compromised psyche. Understanding this allows you to maintain compassion for their struggle while protecting your energy and boundaries, seeing their response as insight into their inner world, not as feedback on your worth. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming who you really are, integrating all aspects of your personality and living according to your deepest values, is the highest human achievement. It's also, paradoxically, one of the most challenging paths you can choose, precisely because it often awakens resentment in those who have abandoned their own journey of self-discovery. When your aura awakens resentment, it might simply mean you're succeeding at being yourself in a world that often rewards conformity, people-pleasing, and the suppression of authentic desires. You're choosing the narrow path of integrity over the wide road of compromise. The next time you encounter these patterns of resentment, criticism, or hostility, don't take them as evidence that something is wrong with you. Take them as information about the psychological dynamics at play. Your attractive aura is not the problem. It's the solution to living an authentic life in an authentic way. Remember, Jung understood that transformation and growth are often uncomfortable processes, not just for the person changing, but for everyone in their orbit. When you embody authentic presence, clear boundaries, and unwavering self-respect, you become a catalyst for others' psychological growth, whether they welcome that growth or resist it with every fiber of their being. Your role isn't to make this process comfortable for others. Your role is to continue living authentically, maintaining your boundaries, pursuing your genuine goals, and serving as an example of what's possible when someone chooses courage over comfort, authenticity over approval, and personal integrity over social acceptance. In our next video, we'll explore Jung's insights on maintaining your magnetic presence while protecting yourself from energy vampires, psychological manipulation, and the various tactics people use to dim your light. Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, subscribe for more high-value content. The choice is yours. Dim your light to make others comfortable in their darkness, or shine authentically and trust that some shadows were meant to be illuminated by the courage of those willing to be themselves. Jung knew which path leads to genuine fulfillment, psychological wholeness, and a life lived without regret. Your attractive aura isn't an accident. It's the natural result of living in harmony with your true self, your deepest values, and your authentic desires. Don't apologize for it. Don't diminish it. Don't compromise it to make others comfortable. Understand it, protect it, nurture it, and let it guide you toward even greater authenticity and self-respect. The world needs more people willing to be genuinely themselves. Your attractive aura is your contribution to that mission. And if this resonates with you, there's more to explore. In our next video, we dive even deeper into how your powerful aura affects those around you, revealing the 7 unmistakable signs that your presence awakens envy in others. Understanding these patterns not only protects your energy, but also strengthens your journey toward true authenticity. 7 signs. Your powerful aura attracts envy from others. Carl Jung. Onward, thinkers.